University of Guyana, Faculty of Education and Humanities, Department of Curriculum and Instruction, EMA 5103, Teaching of Mathematics at the Early Childhood and Primary Level 3 with Mr. Mohindat Gulsaran. Rabindranath Lachman, Crystal Shepherd, Kelisha London, Nico Rodney, Tinithia Pestano, Nandrani Das, Trisha Shairula, Esther Shrigobin, Rashid Rahamatali, and yours truly, Chanel Brandt, were tasked with preparing a multigrade mathematics kit to teach mathematics. For each item in the kit, we will describe how it was constructed through supporting videos showing the construction process undertaken by the group. Hop with us on Railway to Math Success. Geometric shapes were constructed using foam sheets. The sheets were cut into various shapes using precise measurement. Some of the plane shapes constructed were triangles, squares, circles, and rectangles. These shapes were then labeled for presentation. Colored paper was then used to create fraction circles. The significance of color coding for visual learning was demonstrated by cutting out circles and dividing them into various fractional parts such as wholes, halves, quarters, and sixths.
Construction of the clock. Now, firstly, I assemble the paper to create the background so that it can be child friendly. I then used a circular object to outline a circular shape and cut according to that outline. I glued the circular outline onto the picture, then marked the spots in which each number will be placed. After doing that, with the use of silicone, I secured the numbers onto the marked spots. Then I used foam sheets to create the minute and hour hands of the clock, then secure the same using a thumbtack. And lastly, I glued the clock onto a sturdier cardboard to support its weight. Construction of the abacus. Now the first step is I took a sturdy cardboard box, which I then cut in half. Secondly, I used craft paper, the colors yellow and red, to paper and beautify the box, along with foam, which I took to add to the edges of the box. Thirdly, I poked holes evenly across each side, making sure that they have the same spacing. I then inserted binding wires into one of the holes and then placed 10 beads onto each wire. After placing the 10 beads onto each wire, I then secured the other end into the hole and added a little glue to ensure that it stays in. Here we can see the finished product of the abacus.
Steps in making a fractional chart. Materials needed were white cardboards, strips of colored cardboards, typed fractions to show whole, half, 1/4, 1/8, and 1/16, and the name fractional chart. Strips of black glitter foam was used for bordering. The white sheet of cardboard were used to create a sturdy base. Strips of colored cardboards were measured to its desired size, 4 inches long and 22 inches wide. A ruler was then used to measure each section on the cardboard to show whole, half, quarter, 1/8, and 1/16. I then pasted labels to represent each fraction next to its corresponding section. The name fractional chart was then pasted. The chart was then backed and covered to give it a polished look.
Construction of the number line. A piece of string 4 feet long, a ruler, closed pegs, and number cards were utilized in order to construct the number line. Number cards were printed and cut out. Numbers from +10 to -10 were pasted onto the pegs. The ruler was used to mark off equal distances on the string. The pegs were then clipped onto the string at the marked spots.
Alright, so I'll be demonstrating how to make types of angles. As you can see, we have all the materials here that will be used to make the different types of angles. So after putting it together, I'll be showing you the completed model. Alright, as you can see, everything has been glued together, so I'll now put them to make our final model of the angles. Alright, as you can see, we have our final product here, which is the model of straight angles. Each angle, we have the acute right angle, obtuse, straight angle, and reflex angle. And also it can be shown by moving these arrows here. So when the child moves it here, you'll see it's an acute angle, and you'll be able to match it right here. This is less than 90 degrees. When you have the 90 degree here, obtuse, straight, and the reflex. It has to go more down, and this angle will be shown as a reflex angle.
A circle was made from using a styrofoam sheet, a ruler, a pencil, a scissors, and a compass. Next, you use your pencil to mark a dot at the center of the styrofoam sheet. Then you use your ruler to measure 10 centimeters from this point on the styrofoam where the measurement stops. Next, you open your compass from the center point to 10 centimeters. Then you hold your compass firmly and rotate it with the pencil, tracing a curve to form a circle. Then use the scissors to cut out the circle.
I'm Miss Vestano. I'll be making a geoboard. A sandpaper was used to smooth the edges of the board. Then a pen and a ruler was used to draw lines on the board to form grids 1 inch apart. Dots were formed on the board to place the push pins. A hammer was used to insert the push pins into each dot, and rubber bands were used to ensure that the push pins are secured and the grid is aligned.
Hi, my name is Trisha and now we're making solid shapes. First, I started with the nets of the cylinder. I drew it on a piece of paper, then I started to cut the shape of the net. Then I took a piece of tape and then paste each end of the shape to bring it together. I then went ahead and repeated the same steps for the cuboid, the cone, and the cube. There I have the necks, and then I went ahead with pieces of tape, taped the ends to bring the shape together, and there I did the cuboid. Then I went ahead and did the cone, as you can see there. Then I went ahead with the cube, and there you have it, solid shapes.
The decimal tiles were made from cardboard, color paper, a ruler, and a pencil. A rectangle was cut to represent the complete number 1, then divided equally using a ruler. Color paper pieces were arranged to create visually different combinations. Each value, including whole, tenth, and hundred, was arranged for clarity. The result was a well-made, color-coded set of decimal tiles suitable for classroom use. This can be used to teach concepts such as addition and subtraction of decimal numbers, rounding numbers.
Take a look now at the assembling and display of our multi-grade mathematics kit.